Good evening, elementary students. Hi from Mrs. Webb. Happy Friday. Hopefully you guys had a pretty good week doing online schooling. I had a lot of awesome artwork sent to me by lots of friends. It's March 27th today, and I have another book for you guys. Another book, very awesome book. It's called Extra Yarn, and I'm going to go ahead and read this, and hopefully you guys will see why I like it so much. So you can kind of see here, this is sort of a very gray, bland colored. It's got grays and blacks, so it's kind of bland, a little town. And it says, on a cold afternoon in a cold little town, where everywhere you looked was either the white of snow or the black of soot from chimneys, Annabelle found a box with yarn of every color. And there's Annabelle right there with her little poochie. He's cute. So she went home and knit herself a sweater. And when Annabelle was done, she had some extra yarn. So there she is. She knit a really cute sweater. Do any of you guys know how to knit, or do you know someone that knows how to knit? I know there was some kiddos that talked about knowing how to crochet, and then definitely some of our groups know how to make different crafts with yarn because we've done some things before, like weaving and stuff. So she knit a sweater for Mars too, but there was still extra yarn. So now our little doggy has a sweater also. And when Annabelle and Mars went for a walk, Nate pointed and laughed and said, "You two look ridiculous." "You're just jealous," said Annabelle. "No, I'm not," said Nate. You see these pictures here. Nate looks like he's being kind of mean and like making fun of him. And I love that evil sort of look that the doggy has. And there's Annabelle. She doesn't seem happy that he's being kind of mean to her. But it turned out he was. She made him wear sweaters. And even after she'd made a sweater for Nate and his dog, and for herself, and for Mars, she still had extra yarn. Oh my goodness, look at that. She's got it like wrapped around the tree there. At school, Annabelle's classmates could not stop talking about her sweater. "Quiet," shouted Mr. Norman. "Quiet, everyone. Annabelle, that sweater of yours is a terrible distraction. I cannot teach with everyone turning around to look at you." "Then I'll knit one for everyone," Annabelle said, "so they won't have to turn around." "Impossible," said Mr. Norman. "You can't." Uh-oh. You know what happens in a story when someone says someone can't do something. Generally, they find a way to do it. But it turned out she could, and she did, even for Mr. Norman. I'm going to bring this closer because I love all these sweaters that she made. They're so cool. I think she forgot to cut the string between them though. So she knit sweaters for her mom and dad, and for Mr. Pendleton and Mrs. Pendleton, and for Dr. Palmer, and for little Lewis. So you'll have to check these out too. And I love how colorful these are. You guys probably know by now that I love color. She made sweaters for everyone except Mr. Crabtree, who never wore sweaters or even long pants, and who could stand in his shorts with the snow up to his knees. "No sweater for me, thanks," said Mr. Crabtree. I know some of you students like to wear shorts in the winter, and we always have to tell you, like, you gotta wear something under them. My son is like that too, because he likes to wear shorts all winter long. He's probably wearing shorts today. So she made Mr. Crabtree a hat. And even then, Annabelle still had extra yarn. Goodness, where's all this yarn coming from? She made sweaters for all the dogs and all the cats, and for other animals too. Soon, people thought, soon Annabelle will run out of yarn. But it turned out she didn't. So Annabelle made sweaters for things that didn't even wear sweaters. Oh my gosh, look at the sweaters on everything. There's sweaters on houses and on pets. Oh my gosh, that little birdie has a sweater on it. Oh my goodness, the mailbox. And a little bunny. And a bear. Oh goodness, you guys. She's making sweaters for everyone. Things began to change in that little town. Now that's the kind of town I like. All colorful. Super colorful. News spread of this remarkable girl who never ran out of yarn, and people came to visit from around the world to see all the sweaters and to shake Annabelle's hand. One day, an archduke who was very fond of clothes sailed across the sea and demanded to see Annabelle. I feel like he might be up to no good. I don't know. Let's check him out. Yeah, I don't know about that guy. I don't know. I'll have to see. Little girl, said the Archduke, I would like to buy that miraculous box of yarn, and I'm willing to offer you $1 million. No, thank you, said Annabelle, who was knitting a sweater for a pickup truck. The Archduke, his mustache twitched. $2 million, he said. Annabelle shook her head. No, thanks. $10 million, shouted the Archduke. Take it or leave it. Leave it, said Annabelle. I won't sell the yarn. And she didn't. She looks perfectly happy they're knitting. My mom loves to knit, so I know how addicting that can be. She loves it. So that night, the Archduke hired 3 robbers to break into Annabelle's house. And they stole the box and took it to the Archduke, who set off across the snow and sailed over the sea back to his castle. The Archduke put on his favorite song, sat in his best chair. Then he took out the box, and he lifted its lid, and he looked inside. I told you guys I thought maybe he was up to no good. He stole her box. I can't believe that. His mustache quivered. It shivered. It trembled. The Archduke hurled the box out the window and shouted, Little girl, I curse you with my family's curse. You will never be happy again. Look, there's the empty box, and there he is throwing it out to the ocean. Can you guys see that? But, you see what's happening there? Oh, it's like kind of breaking away on that little ice. And it's floating. It's floating on a teeny little piece of ice. Yeah, probably ice in the water. Okay, Annabelle found it. It found its way back to her because it's magic. It turned out she was happy no matter what that guy said, huh, guys? Because she got to create her artwork. And you know, knitting is and yarn and like fabrics, that is a style of art. They all fall into different categories. Some of it falls into like craft or like design, but a lot of you guys do like to talk about clothing and design and things like that. So if you have fabric at home, you could always make some kind of a collage or something. You could also, like, some of your grade levels have learned how to weave things before. You can make friendship bracelets. There's so many things you can do with yarn and string. So if you want to get creative, maybe you guys could try out some ideas. I know most of you have Pinterest and YouTube and everything, so you can go ahead and check out other things people are doing. But if you make something cool, let me know. Send it to me. Hopefully everybody is staying safe and healthy and well and quarantined and working on their schoolwork. If not, you have the whole weekend, right? So I will talk to you guys soon, and thank you guys for all of you that are watching these videos. I've heard back from a bunch of you, and that's always awesome. I miss you all, and have a good weekend.